The cost of living in Clark County, Washington has exploded the last few years, and we need to talk about it. Hey, welcome back to the Living in Vancouver and Camas, Washington YouTube channel. I'm your host, Hannah Dubyne, and I'm thankful you're here today because we're talking about a super important subject, which is cost of living. Cost of living really dictates for a lot of people where they live and their monthly budget and their lifestyle, so it's super important, and we're gonna go in depth on it today. It is no secret that the cost of living has exploded for everyone across the country post-COVID with all the things going on in the world and the economy. But I want to talk specifically about Clark County, Washington today because that's where we're located. By the way, if you're new here, subscribe to the channel so you can be the first to know about our new videos every week, and sign up for our Weekend Happenings with Hannah email. We handwrite it for you guys every single week. We put the best 4 or 5 local events on there and some other fun stuff. We promise we won't spam you, so sign up for that down below. A lot of our amazing watchers, just like you guys, are very analytical people and you like information. So that's my goal today, is to give you information and some data on what's happened with the cost of living in Clark County. I don't have data for everything because this is kind of hard data to find, but I'm gonna provide it wherever I can. So cost of living, let's talk about it. I'm gonna start first with housing. I'm a realtor, so obviously I wanna start with housing. That's like super fun for me to talk about. But also it's usually the biggest expense for a household every month. And it has just increased dramatically in price the last few years. So I feel like that's the most pertinent monthly expense to talk about. So I have some stats here I'm looking at over on my laptop. The median sale price in Clark County for a home in 2019, pre-COVID, was $371,000. I'm filming this in 2024, so that's a 5-year difference. That was 5 years ago now. It's crazy to think that. 371 is what that was. In 2024, the number I just pulled the other day, the median sales price here in Clark County is 507. 371, 507. Big difference there. That is a 36% difference for you guys who are doing the math in just 5 years. So I don't know if your salary has gone up or your pay has gone up by 36%, but I hope it has because our home prices have gone up by 36%. Also, interest rates. We all know interest rates are high in 2023 and, currently releasing this in 2024. In 2019, the kind of average interest rate was around 4.5%. Here in 2024, as I'm filming this video today, we're in the high sixes. High sixes, okay? That's a massive difference. It's like a 50% difference almost. And it makes for a wide gap in your payment. So folks who didn't buy a home pre-COVID, they didn't buy a home really before 2021 is when things just took off to no return. They are looking at double mortgage payments than those who bought a home prior to COVID. Depending on how you slice the data, obviously I'm just looking at median sale prices for the county here. I've seen as much as 50% increases from 2019 prices to today's prices in 2024. And for our Clark County market, we have appreciated faster than the national average for a variety of reasons that I talk about all the time. We're a very desirable place to live, but this is somewhat in line with the national trend. We all know that housing prices just got really, really expensive after COVID. So even though we are expensive, we are more expensive than the national average for housing, we also are still somehow more affordable than most of the West Coast markets. So I would keep that in mind. Let's talk about groceries. Groceries is also a really big bill for families. Food, everyone's gotta eat. I just saw an article from a local news outlet saying that Washington is the 4th most expensive weekly grocery bill in the country. So I'm not exactly sure what that was ranked on. You're welcome to check out the article down below. We'll have it linked, but it's not cheap anymore. We have a household of 2 right now, just me and my boyfriend, and I would say we spend between $75 to $120 a week on groceries. We're kind of simple people. We don't really eat too fancy and we don't eat out a ton unless it's for business. But that is where we're at with the grocery bill, and we've definitely seen it increase the last few years. I think we've all seen videos on Instagram or TikTok where someone does a grocery haul in 2019, 2020, and then they go buy the exact same things in 2023 or 2024, and it's like 20 or 30% more expensive. Childcare is another really big expense for families. If you are part of a household where both parents are working and so you can't provide full-time childcare to your kids, and you don't have family members to watch them, whatever, you need to send them to some sort of daycare or childcare. I have statistics that say it's gonna cost about $12,500 a year for your one child to be in full-time daycare. That's a lot of money, especially if you have more than one kid, then double that, triple that. I'm not quite sure who is affording that, but that's the cost of daycare. And we know that daycares shut down after COVID with the regulations. Even though they're charging really high prices, I don't really think they make that much money just because they're regulated heavily and they have a lot of salaries to pay. And the wait lists here are really long, which is another thing you should know if you have kids. So I know for some of my clients and my friends, they've decided that one of the parents is just gonna not work and stay at home because it almost makes more financial sense. Then that person can take care of the home completely, watch the kids. Yes, they're not making as much income, but they're also spending way less, and then maybe it's enriching their lives more. How about transportation? Transportation is another really big factor to consider. I'm gonna focus mostly on cars because this is a very car-centric place to live. We do have public transportation options, but they're pretty limited. If you don't have a car here in Southwest Washington, you're gonna have a hard time getting around. The main stat I wanted to focus on was gas, because gas is what fuels most of our cars. Some of y'all have electric, which is great, but that's not most people. So in 2019, the average gas price in Washington State was $3.10 a gallon. Wow, I miss those days. Who else misses those days? Comment down below. In 2023, I guess it was average for all of 2023, 4-year difference, the average gas price was $4.50. Okay, so that is a 45% increase in 4 years. 45%? Oh my gosh. It's one of those things where you think about it and it's only $1.40 a gallon, but we use so many gallons of gas every year. That's 45% increase in your gas bill. So that is a national trend again, but Washington State is one of the more heavily taxed states for gas, and we do have high gas prices compared to the national average. Now, what I didn't look into was car prices. We know that car prices went up a lot during COVID and they've come back down a little bit since. I'd say we're probably on par with about the average for like used car prices, new car prices. So, just get the car that you can afford. I hate to see people that have $1,000 a month car payment. It just doesn't make sense. Another cost I wanted to touch on was healthcare, because again, that's another big expense if your employer is not paying for that. However, I couldn't really find any good data on this, unfortunately. I don't know what to say about it. I mean, my healthcare has increased maybe $75 to $100 a month since I got it in 2019, 2020. So it has gone up because everyone's costs have gone up. Lots of inflation in the economy right now. I, once again, don't think that's too much different than other parts in the country. Last big area I wanted to focus on for increasing costs here in Southwest Washington, Washington State, is utilities. So I kind of have the utilities in two categories. I have the public utilities, so that would be electricity, gas, and water for your home. In this part of the country, electricity, gas, and water, they're all regulated and they're not open. So we don't have 20 gas companies to choose from, 20 electricity companies to choose from, 20 water providers to choose from. You don't get to choose at all. You're just assigned and there's just one. So water is a lot of times serviced by your city. There's a couple trash companies in our area, and there's really just one gas provider, Northwest Natural. I would say these costs, yes, have increased. Are they absolutely ridiculous? I don't feel like they are, but maybe I'm just not old enough to remember. The other utilities I want to talk about were ones that we consider utilities, but I guess they're more of subscriptions. So I think of this as phone bill and internet. Phone bill and internet have definitely gone up over the years. I remember when I was paying, granted I was living in Eastern Washington, I was paying like $35 a month for internet, which was really nice. We pay about $60 a month for our internet now in Camas, and we have the Ziply fiber, the fiber connected one. I think it's kind of like an average package, and it does the job, but like I said, we were paying $35 a month in Eastern Washington. That was like 4 or 5 years ago. So, phone bill, I'm a business owner and I have technically a business account and we have unlimited everything. But right now I'm paying $50 a line with Verizon. I also remember when that was quite a bit cheaper and I was paying more like $30 a line. So those costs have absolutely gone up in Washington. So that's my 2 cents on how costs have increased in Washington state the last few years. I think the reality is, and I think about this a lot, guys, because I want you all to be in good financial positions. The costs to live have increased across the board, across the country for everyone the last 4 or 5 years a lot, and you have to be smart with where you're spending your money. So make sure you're making good financial decisions, consult your attorney, or not your attorneys, ugh. Consult your CPAs, consult your financial planners, your realtors, like me, and just save your money where you can, and know that living somewhere you love that brings joy to you is amazing, but also you have to weigh in the costs as well. So let me know down below what you think about the cost to live in Washington state and how it has increased the last few years. If you're thinking about moving to, buying, or selling within Clark County, Washington, myself and my team at Dubyne Realty Group at Real Broker, we would really love to serve you. So send us an email, text us, DM us on Instagram at Hannah Dubyne, and don't forget to sign up for Weekend Happenings with Hannah email down below. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next week. Bye!